Alright guys, let's do a really quick talk here on, just basic information regarding the belly button or navel piercing, okay? First off, your jewelry for a navel piercing is almost always universally across the table going to be a 14 gauge. And 14 gauge being the thickness of the bar, okay? That's kind of an industry standard. Like, every once in a while they come across a 12 gauge, which is a little bit thicker, but for the most part, no matter where you go, that should be a pretty easy one. It's always going to be 14 gauge, being the thickness of the post, okay? You would never want to put anything thinner in there. That air just gets a lot of movement, and anything thinner could possibly cut or get pulled out really, really easy. So always stick with 14 gauge, which pretty much so always that's what it's going to be anyway. So pretty easy one there. Now, as far as the length of your bar, I usually like to pierce with a 7/16. That's a pretty common size length to get pierced with, and that just gives you a little bit of room for swelling and healing and draining and discharge and all that other funky stuff that's definitely going to occur during the healing of that piercing, okay? Now, once it's healed, which we're talking 6 to 8 months, you can actually get a shorter one if you want to. So one that doesn't hang down the bottom of the navel. You can get one like a 3/8, or some people even go as far as a 5/16. But that's going to be something you can figure out once you're healed farther down the road. Or if you like the feel and the look of a little bit looser jewelry, then you can stick with that 7/16 or 3/8. But as far as that goes, you just kind of ask your piercer beforehand what size you're piercing with, and you can write it down and just have it so you know, okay? Now, as far as aftercare goes, once again, your basic healing for a navel piercing is going to be roughly 6 to 8 months, and that's going to slightly vary depending on person to person. But on average, 6 to 8 months is your healing time, okay? So 6 to 8 months, don't touch it, don't play with it. Definitely don't spin it and rotate it. So I've said this a million times before. It's not like when you get your ears pierced in the mall, which you shouldn't be doing anyways, but just know that it's not like when you get your ears pierced in the mall and tell to spin and rotate the jewelry. That's all just a total urban myth. You want to keep that jewelry stationary. Keep it as stationary as possible during the entire healing period, okay? Now, I know 6 to 8 months sounds like a really long time, but honestly, it goes by really fast, okay? So leave it alone, hands off, don't touch it, don't play with it. Just know if you're constantly spinning and rotating it, it's just like picking out a scab, okay? And you're just going to get possibly migration, excess scar tissue. And you can also be bringing dirt and bacteria into the piercing by moving it around so much, okay? So don't do that. Leave it alone, build a force field around it, and just kind of let it be, okay? The next thing, as far as like actually taking care of it, never ever put hydrogen peroxide or alcohol or Neosporin or Bactine or even antibacterial soap on there, okay? It's all way too harsh, and it just does a lot more damage than good, okay? All that stuff, or none of it really discriminates against good or bad. It kind of all just goes in there and kills everything, and it just dissolves everything away. And that scab you have in there you're trying to keep intact, it's just chewing it up and dissolving it away, which is going to cause, once again, migration. Also, your body's going to want to form a lot more scar tissue because that scab's constantly getting chewed up and dissolved. So no bottle cleaners, okay? If it ever looks like there's a problem and you're concerned about it, don't self-medicate it. Go and see your local piercer and see what they say to do about it, okay? Now, with all that being said, you definitely want to be doing saltwater soaks on it once or twice a day, okay? And saltwater soaks are really simple and really easy to do and pretty cheap and inexpensive also, okay? The way you go about doing those is first go to the grocery store, get like a gallon of distilled water. Distilled water, it's like $1. It's in the drinking water section, so it's pretty cheap and easy, okay? After that, go to the salt section. And in the salt section, you want to get some non-iodized, preferably, or all natural, or even just like an organic sea salt, okay? You're looking for a pure sea salt. So when I say pure sea salt, what I mean is when you read that ingredients list, the only ingredient in there should be sea salt, okay? Nothing added, just pure, all natural or non-iodized sea salt, okay? Pretty simple to find. Almost any grocery store should have that, okay? Once you have those two items, when you get home, it's 4 teaspoons of the salt to the 1 gallon of water, okay? So 4 to 1. Shake it up, and that gives you a big jug to keep around the house, all right? So just fill that jug up, keep it around the house, store it room temperature. That's all you gotta do. And once or twice a day, you wanna do a saltwater soak, okay? So to do that, once or twice a day, you take like a coffee cup or a shot glass. Always make sure it's porcelain or glass. Never paper or plastic, okay? Paper and plastic can contaminate your saltwater solution, okay? So porcelain or glass only, okay? So take your coffee cup or your shot glass, fill it up with the saltwater solution, microwave for a few seconds, and that way it's just going to be body temperature. Everybody's microwave slightly varies, so you're going to have to experiment the first couple times, but you just want it lukewarm or body temperature, okay? Once you have that, you're going to kind of lean forward, push it up against your navel. Now you push really hard on there and kind of get it to seal itself off or get a bit of a suction going, all right? And once you have that going on there, you just stand up and hang out. And you're going to hang out for like 5-10 minutes. You know, usually, you know, officially they say 7 to 15 minutes, but 5 to 10 is pretty good, okay? But just stand there, let it soak, and just wait, all right? You can listen to music, watch TV, brush your teeth, but either way, you want to soak it the entire time, okay? And when you're done, lean forward, pull the glass off, set it to the side, rinse yourself off with water, you know, just lightly rinse it off with water really, really well, and then you're good to go, okay? You can take a paper towel, a wet paper towel, and wipe it down, or you can, well, actually, yeah, I guess that would be perfect, or just take some water and just kind of splash it on there and rinse it off, all right? Never try and use like a Q-tip or a cotton ball to kind of wipe it off. Paper towels work good, or just water and just splash it on there, all right? So for the most part, that's all you're going to do, all right? I know I just spit a whole bunch of information out there, but a lot of what I just said is just leave it alone, let it heal, just do saltwater soaks on it, okay? Last thing I want to put out there is, because this is such a long healing period, you know, the navel piercing, 6 to 8 months, you are going to have flare-ups. You're definitely going to have ups and downs with it, okay? That's all normal, all right? Just hang in there. If anything looks too weird or out of the ordinary, get a hold of your local piercer and have them take a look at it and see what they say about it. Usually, they're just going to be like, go back to doing saltwater soaks, okay? And just wait it through. It's usually pretty normal, okay? I think that's pretty much it, yeah. One more thing I should add on there, public bodies of water. Oceans, pools, lakes, jacuzzis, try and avoid also, okay? Those things, they have a lot of bacteria in there, and that's just one of the things that could lead to an infection by getting that water inside there, okay? Showers, bathtubs, stuff like that, you know, it's totally fine. It's just public bodies of water you want to avoid, okay? So yeah, leave it alone, build a force field around it, do saltwater soaks on it only, and any problems, just hit up your local piercer, okay? They should totally be able to help you out, no problems at all. All right, thanks guys.